I will call this budget workshop on November 19th, 2025 at 2 p.m. the order. All right, calling purpose, discussion of possible action regarding additional invoices including engineering. On page 2 of your packet.
The draft.
Heather, I'll let you explain this. We should have Ken here for any questions there.
Oh, it was just the engineering invoices I set aside that didn't get into the list of payables for companies. And it was just the engineering. For Buena Park, MS4, and then the construction ones that we don't know.
So it's a total of $35,546.30. Board have any questions on this or make a motion to pay these?
So how does this number jive with what we've seen projected at previous budget planning sessions about this project? Was this included in those
This one,
expected expenses that were coming in?
I don't remember if that one was on my spreadsheet. I don't think this one was.
Yeah, these are the
This one may have been. I don't remember 100% if this is, but we are over for engineering.
I mean, I'm just trying to guess, is this an additional 35 grand over what we've previously seen at budget planning? Or is this included in what we had projected?
I just think this is included what I had projected, I think,
Yeah,
Oh,
because this is just through September, the engineering through
yeah,
September.
we're gonna wait until the road's done, which is what I'm hearing.
So they're always like a month behind with invoicing, so we haven't gotten October's yet. So I think this one was included in that. I just had it, I just didn't submit it.
It's a timing issue.
yeah, no, I get it.
So the date is from October. Those were September's invoices you received in October.
Correct.
Looking for a motion to approve to pay this month.
I move to approve.
Got a motion, looking for a second. I'll second that motion. Second. Any discussion? Call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next thing is discussion possible action regarding the planning commission recommendations. I guess that I missed that and we didn't, there wasn't much on there, but we need to make a motion to approve it if discussed at planning commission. So I'm not gonna read them all because Supervisor Hulander did that last time, the last meeting, but looking for a motion to approve the stuff that planning commission.
Usually we approve each item in case there's any questions or anybody from the audience, but I'll move to approve the conceptual CSM for Jackish King 33223 Hyde Drive.
Okay, got a motion, got a second? Call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're going to the second one. Request to combine lots, to create 2 buildable lots. Motion approved was presented by the planning. Looking for a motion for that one.
Move to approve.
I'll second. Call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Final one. I don't think we really need to do a chicken permit. That's by the
No, yeah.
board, so.
Planning Commission does ears and chickens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, now let's move on to discuss on possible action regarding proposed contract with the Village of Waterford for possible video administrative duties. I'll let you discuss this, because you presented this to the board previously.
Yeah.
And we're sort of put it together.
All right, I'm gonna just hand out my talking points to you guys so that you have, so I don't miss anything and you've got what I believe are the important points associated with this. Dale and I and Kenny have had subsequent conversations on this. I recognize there's a lot of different pros and cons based upon people's opinions in terms of where this is at, but I will just explain my point of view on this as a way to start. So this contract with the village was developed as a possible alternative to hiring a full-time replacement for Ken. Board consideration of this contract was to be conducted in parallel to evaluating resumes that came in and interviewing potential candidates. Any perception that consideration of the contract in any way has delayed the interviewing of potential candidates is completely false. It's not delayed that. The contract does present potential opportunity to collaborate with the village to maximize existing DPW leadership talent and save the town money. Rationale for the contract is not to fully eliminate Ken's position. A practical implementation would include hiring or contracting for a part-time resource to backfill Ken's current field duties. The contract provides the ability to leverage the village's full public works leadership team at our disposal. The town's current fully loaded cost of the DPW supervisor position is about $120,000 a year. Contracting with the village could potentially save the town $40,000 to $50,000 a year. Wisconsin Department of Revenue has grants called innovation grant opportunities that could make it even more financially attractive to the town. So in my opinion, based on my short time in this role, I think that the town is in a financially concerning position. There's no more revenue on the horizon. There's no indication the state is going to increase funding for the towns. There are no developments in the town to create revenue generating opportunities right now. So the revenue side of our budget is basically stagnant with no prospect of improvement, at least that I see. And costs continue to rise at a rapid rate. They're all familiar with inflation and the other things that are driving costs up all the way around. More borrowing without economic development would be a bad decision, again, in my opinion. The state is incenting municipalities to work together to find creative and innovative ways to combine services, maximize efficiencies, and save money. There's over $300 million in innovation grant money that is specifically focused on municipalities working together to do these kinds of things. We see other communities around us doing that. An example being West Allis and Wauwatosa and the combination of their fire departments. I mean, this is just basically what the state is signaling. Municipalities better start working together in order to drive your costs down and find better ways of working. So this potential contract with the village is a very small, simple way for the town to experiment with such an approach. I recognize that Kenny and Dale have voiced strong opposition to this approach, and I don't dissuade or I don't dispel those objections. I think they've got points and there's information to be considered there. But if this town board decides not to move forward with this contract, I recommend that the town and village work actively together in fiscal year 26 to fully consolidate the public works departments of both municipalities. The town has to begin taking significant steps to change the trajectory of its ever worsening financial condition. That's my opinion, and that's basically what I think we have the opportunity to do with this contract.
Okay. So are you making a motion? Because we gotta have discussion at some point.
I think it probably makes sense to have the discussion first, because I believe that Dale has key points that he wants to make.
I'm okay with that.
I prefer to call on Ken, the DPW supervisor, to get his reasoning for,
Okay, well, this whole thing kind of came up pretty fast. But,
I'll allow it. You come up here, not, no,
Do you wanna-
no podium, but. come
Yeah,
up in
just
the
come
middle.
over here and sit, just so
Say
you're
what you wanna
closer,
say.
just so you're closer to.
This whole thing came up pretty fast on the 11th hour as I'm going to retire. And also we find out that with this contract thing, yeah, it took everybody for a loop. My guys as well. Dale and I talked about this. And as the meeting went Monday, we both don't see how one full-time person from the village is going to run this department along with his other duties. It's just, I have a whole list here that I actually just typed up fresh
Can we make copies?
about 10 minutes ago.
I can make quick
you
copies.
can.
Yep.
I'll get one copy.
Okay, she'll hang on a second. Gail, you wanna interject by?
Yep.
actually, which I have a copy that you made.
Keep your finger on the pulse. You really need to be here to run this place. Be like the village asking me to run their department when I have time. Virtually impossible. Literally virtually impossible. So I don't know how they can actually think they can do it the other way around. I just don't see it. There's a lot of things I wrote down here. To name a few, okay, this person would have to come to the town board meetings and do monthly reports, weekly time cards, scheduling manpower, time off, etc. Prepare for each storm as it develops, take care of the recycling center, logs, dumpster pickups, monthly bills and statements, and stay under budget. Budget meetings, manage all the phone calls, emails, meeting with constituents on issues. Monthly chip list, roadside mowing. There's 3 sets of fleet cards. Organize all equipment, truck maintenance and parts logs. Equipment breakdowns. All the park maintenance, all the building maintenance. Salt and brine logs and inventory. Yearly road certification reports. Pacer wear reports, MS wear reports, bridge inspections, culvert ditch inspections, road opening reports, salt shed inspections, backflow preventer inspections, the yearly water test, all safety and street signs, road grants, LRIP, the TRI, the TRID, et cetera, bridge aid. There's 26 fire extinguishers certifications done for everything I have over there. That's done each year. And keep the shop stocked with parts and supplies. And I don't see anybody doing this remotely.
Anything else you wanna say to the board?
I know my guys probably have a few things to
No,
say.
but we're gonna move on, so if that's all you got, I'm gonna go to Dale here. Since he's liaison.
Well, like Ken, I was caught by surprise by this too. We had heard rumblings that Tom was going to talk to the village, and that's fine. I'm all in favor of us talking to the village about anything that we can. But by the time Ken and I found out, there had been 2 meetings and a draft contract. I thought, what, the train's left the station already? The town board has never discussed this. I don't know where it's at with the operations committee, but what we're supposed to concentrate on is filling Ken's position. And we had taken applications up until October 31st. I looked at those applications. I know Tom didn't see too many applicants that he liked, but I think there's enough people here that we should interview. So I talked to Rick Huning, the village DPW head, and we had a nice conversation. He said we should put the brakes on. We're miles apart. We're setting this up for failure. His #1 priority is the village DPW and sewer and water. Town of Waterford would be his lowest priority. There's no emergencies. The village DPW would come first. He's not going to be here when there's a snowstorm. He's going to be over at the village. For hours, if we're going to pay half his salary, we're not going to get half his time. He said he could maybe spend a couple of hours at the town DPW at the most. And most critically, he would do no snow plowing. So that would leave us with only 2 full-timers to snow plow. Ken has told me for years, and Rick told me, you cannot depend on part-timers. So the idea that we could just have somebody to call up and fill in Ken's position, I think is hopeful thinking. He said too that our DPW won't work with just 2 full-timers. They have 5 full-timers, only 24 miles of road. We've got 3 full-timers and what, 68 miles of road?
64.
64 miles of road. Again, you can't rely on part-time help for snow emergencies. You won't be answering the phone at the DPW. Calls come in all day. I'm not there that frequently, but when I'm in the DPW, there's not a day goes by that the phone doesn't ring all day long. So if there's nobody there to answer the phone, Tina, you're it. Because you know, when they don't answer there, they're gonna call the clerk's office, and that's not fair to you guys. And after the second meeting, Rick was actually concerned that Ken wasn't involved, so Ken contacted him and let him know, or Rick contacted Ken and let him know what was going on. As far as grants, Rick doesn't do the road grants for the village either. Baxter and Woodman, their engineer, does, just like Kapoor, our engineer, does our town road grants. So that's not something that he would really do either. If we had to go with the village engineer, then that would be an extra cost too. I'm sure the village would like the idea of half of Rick's salary off their budget, putting it on ours, but we're not going to get half of his time and we're not gonna get any to snowplow. I suggest that we start interviewing the top 3 or 4 candidates that applied for the DPW supervisor. But we've got to have a third full-time person. And as Ken has mentioned, to his credit, month after month, time is of the essence. I'm leaving. We're gonna have a special meeting. No special meeting has been called yet except for this one. So we've really got to decide what we're gonna do, get moving on it fast. If the majority of the board wants to go ahead with hiring Rick on this part-time thing, we still have to have somebody else to plow snow. 2 guys can't do it. If one of them is sick, that would be 1 person to plow the entire township. That would be just an impossible task. Time really is of the essence on this. We've got to make a decision and move forward one way or the other.
And my position is already in the budget for this year, or for next year. With the discussion we had with the village, there was a great outcome the next day, because Rick and I pursued sharing things amongst ourselves when it comes to bigger projects. They needed help for a day or 2 on a project. We need help for a couple of days on our project. We can go back and forth. And that, we've always gotten together with situations like that, borrowing them the chipper when theirs broke. We use theirs when ours broke, or the truck, or back and forth. There's a perfect balance there right now. And if we explore other avenues, it's gonna be a win-win for the both of us. But to have them supervise us, yeah, I'm not in favor of that.
Okay.
But I do agree with Tom's second last bullet that the town board doesn't move forward with the contract, that the town and village actively work in 2026 to move toward consolidation. They've got 5 people, we've got 2 or 3. If we could say, well, we need, for this storm, we need to grab one of the village people and plow, that would be something different. But since Rick is not plowing and time is so of the essence,
And you mentioned grants. Not to say there isn't grants out there for us to work together on projects. There could be. There probably is. But
Innovation
we've never
grants
explored those issues
are based on formal contractual things like this, not, situational opportunities that pop up.
Yep.
The other board members, Andrew?
But I'm all for working together and possibly consolidation in the future, but hiring one to be here part-ish time and not having a full-timer to do the plowing and the work and doesn't make sense.
Does your annual safety policy have any jobs that by policy require more than 1 person to do?
Yes.
So if 1 person's out sick, then those jobs would get done. Do you have, off
Well,
the top of your head, do you have an example?
for the most part would be if there's storm damage and there's multiple things.
Tree
If
removal
the
type
police
stuff?
department's not there, well, then we have to have 2. But if the police department's on site, then we can have 1 person respond.
Right now, if a tree falls down in the middle of the night,
It's okay, I'll be right there. And so they wait, because they have to block traffic anyways. So it doesn't happen that often, but it does.
You'd be waiting on the sheriff at midnight.
Whoever's on duty, yeah.
So I'll just add some final thoughts here. I mean, I've heard a lot of reasons why something won't work. Not discounting those reasons, but it's a laundry list of reasons why something won't work. I would challenge this board to start thinking about when something is gonna work, when we are going to implement change and make changes that are significant enough to change the trajectory of where this town is going, and have the courage to do that.
I do like the idea of, it's been said, looking at fully combining some of our services. And just a quick review of the innovation grant. In order to qualify, you have to save at least 10% of the total project amount, which I believe would go off of the total budget for the DPW. and I don't think this would qualify for that. It also requires a 6-year contract. So that would also potentially be limiting. I think it's something that could absolutely be looked at, for a combination of both departments into one in the future that could potentially qualify for that, but I don't know that this by itself would. But I do like the idea of sharing the services where we can.
Okay, so Tom, how do you want to proceed?
Well, I think,
You want
you
to
know,
table this? Okay, future, my recommendation, I haven't put any input in here. I recommend, did everybody go through the resumes on the board?
Yes.
Everybody went through the resume. So my thoughts is I would, since Dale, that's, you oversee that department, I would have you put the resumes in order of what, we all stop in again, pick a timeline. I mean, sort of how we did with the police department, how we went, and then we set up interviews.
Okay, well, the real kicker there is when can everybody be
But that's gonna be a
together? It just
kicker.
took like 2 weeks to get us to this meeting.
Yeah, well, it's, I mean,
So can we just have a quorum and,
well, a quorum would be fine. Obviously, with the holidays, we're all gonna have different schedules. I mean, you need a quorum of 3. And obviously, getting all 5 is the best, but.
well,
we're
Ken
gonna
and
have
I
to-
agreed that there was 3 that we would interview. So,
Okay, well, then I would submit those names to Tina, and Tina can send all the board members an email. And then depending on the board member, since they looked at the resumes, wants to add anybody, add them, and we go from that. That way we do input.
okay,
And the original
let's
interviews.
try to do it as soon as possible.
Yep.
Okay,
Try to go tomorrow, you know what I mean? So,
or this afternoon.
well, depends how long this budget one goes now, all right? Tom,
Yeah.
you think-
I recommend then that we table this in lieu of subsequent discussions in the future about potentially consolidating the departments.
100% behind that.
I'll make,
If it is, I'll second. If it's not, we'll move on.
that's a motion, that's a
All right,
motion.
repeat your motion so they got it down there.
I motion that we withdraw the DPW contract with the village from consideration at this point in time in lieu of commitment to work next year on exploring the consolidation of the DPW departments for the town and the village.
A motion second and discussion. Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Back passes. All right, budget workshop. The board will consider and discuss budget requests from various departments. We're on draft 5. All right. So we do have a balanced budget right now, that's what I've been told. So the things that we talked about revisiting. So I'm gonna open the floor for each supervisor to discuss their topics and what they want to go, and we can decide from there. So Dale, I'll start with you.
Well, I guess the one thing from my notes that we left open are salary percentages and the insurance contribution of town employees.
All right, just to clarify, one of the motions, one of the things we did last time, I said, consider 5% health insurance being paid back by the employees, all employees, correct?
That's what's.
So that was figured in. That's 5, okay? So I think that was done already, we can still discuss it, but we can go back, we can start with the salaries first.
Okay,
But what does the board want to discuss for salary increases? So please start around, sort of set 3%.
I'm recommending a 3% increase in salaries as opposed to the 5 that was requested.
Dale?
I agree with that.
Andrew?
It seems to be up the number and easy to pull it in, so yeah.
Bob?
Go with 3 as well.
Just thinking if you're increasing the cost of benefits, then maybe bump it up a little higher.
I thought it was always 5. When we did the budget, I went back and looked over the notes and the audio or video, and it was pretty much 5.
That was my recommendation, to balance the budget, but was not approved by the board, so things can still be modified right
Oh,
now.
no, that's true. But we also put in there like the premiums for everybody, police, DPW.
Yeah.
us.
But they're talking, everybody would have a 3% is what's being proposed right now.
One of the unknowns is the police department negotiates separately. It's not like you can just say, well, you're only getting 3%, because that's a negotiation that has to happen before we know what that budget number is gonna be.
Well, okay, I'll give an update on that. It wasn't really scheduled, but the chief and I met with Ryan. We looked at the entire contract that they had from 3 years ago. And we're sticking with 3. We changed everything back, which I'll send you. I just got the revised version today and the chief has it. I've not looked at it yet. I just want to make sure my notes and his notes and everything match. And my goal was to send it to Tina to share with all the board members to look at. And then we can, if everybody wants to change any more changes, but I took everything back to the way it was multiple years ago, with all the stuff that wasn't put in there, okay? I don't know how many changes off the top, but there was pretty like, you'll see that when it gets sent to you, because I told them to save it so you can see what the changes are. The biggest thing that they had to do right away is, and the email should have went out today, Ryan just confirmed it, that they had a mess up with the last time part-time people were voting on the full-time police. And that was one of the major things that had to be fixed, and it hasn't been fixed in 3 years. So they gotta get that in order to be fixed before we present a thing. So, and right now, our contract carries over what it was last time, 3%. So I'm sticking with 3% in my opinion. You're right, Bob, they can try for more, but it's the board decision depending on what to do. So that's where I'm at, but I'm hoping to have this all up to you guys by Friday. By the time we'll look over the holidays and the holidays coming up, I don't think there'll be a meeting next week unless.
So WPPA hasn't seen the,
No, they have not, nope, they have reached out, they asked us about it, notified us, but then we said, our turn to get that. They have not seen. So that's where it's at with that, so that's why I'm pretty sure that in my eyes, that's gonna stay 3%. And we did that for something years too.
So I have a question about the health insurance premium cost sharing, 5% for this coming year. When we discussed this previously, based on some of the initial research that was done and what we gathered from other communities, usually there was an evolution to a different ratio.
You had 5, 10, 15.
5, 10,
yes,
15%.
And that's what I put in the police union contract,
Okay, so
everything matches.
are we expecting then that beyond this year, there would be continued cost sharing increases?
Health insurance is not going away, I'm just
Yeah.
telling you that now, that's one of our big expenses, so I think that's gotta be considered. It's up to this board how they wanna do it, I mean,
And we're gonna take that on a year by year basis, 1 year at a time.
well, I think the employees should know that they're knowing now that it's okay, it's 5% right now, it could be 10% next year, it could be
Okay.
15, well, I'm not saying it's not gonna be.
No, and I'm asking for the purpose of transparency and completely
Yeah.
being above board with all of our employees, so that their expectations are appropriately managed.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's fair to say, like, when I was on president of school board, we adjusted, we started with 5, and then, let's say we're up 2.5, we did like 8 or 9, I don't remember exactly, it was many years ago. And then we built it up, we capped it at 15, we didn't go all the way till 20%, the private sector is normally, but we were at 15 when I left the school board. So, back to the salaries here, what do you guys think is fair? I see Bob's point, I see your guys' point, I mean, we did put 5% in the budget right now, I mean, to be fair, I would propose 4% for all current employees, not the police department, they're a different thing, like Bob said, but, I mean,
Good, I think I'm all for it.
Good with that.
Bob,
it's a number.
it's a number, but I just, Tom,
Yeah, I can agree to that. Again, I'm questioning the precedent setting for future years and how things are handled beyond that. I don't think that there should be an expectation, because we
but you
don't know
can't
what's
have
gonna
it,
happen.
you don't.
We don't know what's gonna happen economically or otherwise. So we just need to be clear about that
think we
settle
are
on
being clear, yeah.
Okay.
So what does this board want to do for salary? Does somebody want to make a motion of 4%?
I'll make the motion to have 4% increase in taxes.
Somebody want to second that motion?
I'll second that motion.
All right, any further discussion?
We had it all balanced as of our last meeting. I don't know why we need to go change it now.
Well, it was brought up by board members, so we're trying to hear everybody out.
Just providing my 2 cents worth.
That's fine. I mean, but again, we gotta, the Tom said we're gonna watch the numbers. Everything adds up, every dollar adds up, so. We have a motion second. Any further discussion? All right, I'll call for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. All right. Dale, do you have anything else you want to bring up for the budget?
That's all I have.
Andrew?
This salary, obviously there was from meeting for
There was a change, yeah.
for the referendum for the 2023 for the second shift, obviously we need to have that. What referendum is the tax money going to specifically? I don't know if we cut that or not. But it is there. That's
We
exactly
didn't cut any
what-
specific shifts. For the chief to schedule the shifts.
Right.
So as Heather mentioned, there's 5 full-timers plus the SRO. Correct me if I'm wrong.
One of them is for the village.
Well, there's actually 2 for the village.
Yes, sir, but right now it does have.
3. Well, it's staff as a part-timer, so yes.
Right.
And we have a number, we know we're meeting with them, there's 385 for the village for policing. Plus there's an open of like another 50 for third shift that we're working together on. So we can bring that back eventually.
So leaves us with Polka and Floriani.
No, and there's 2 more that we're looking to hire ACP. We took it from 3 that was reported to me, we can hire, we took it down to 2.
Okay.
And then now if we get the village and us combined, the third shift,
Mhm.
then we'd be adding 1 more back. But that has not happened with the village yet.
Second shift officer for the referendum.
Yeah, but you have 4 officers, so you do have 2 for power shift. It's the chief decides the schedule.
Statement has to be a certain amount of each second shift. If there's only 1 second shift,
Yeah, but
because
you
there's only
staff
3
that with
full
part,
timers,
but you can staff with part-time too.
it's 4. Okay,
Because you got the chief position, you control too, so.
right, but he's not the referendum person. so that's-
No, you explain the referendum. I think we're covering the referendum first.
So Andrew, what are you driving at in terms of,
Because for the referendum, there was actually, was it 75 cents per
No,
per person? No, for taxes, whatever it was for specifically second officer cons.
I'm talking about specific to this budget number proposal here, what?
Well, if we don't have enough people to cover that, then the referendum is not being followed as it's supposed to.
And you're saying that there isn't enough people based
Right
on this
now we
budget
have-
number?
We have Holiday, who works village.
so yeah, don't do it.
Right, but that's what they're paying that. And so we have Polka and Floriana as a record for full-time. And chief.
Okay, and we're looking to hire 2
So we're looking to hire 2,
that we're covered.
if we're sharing 1 for the,
No, that'd be a third one. If we have not figured out third shift yet.
okay. And then number will.
It's the chief, after we discussed it last meeting, I talked directly to talk to the chief about how we balance the budget. He was completely well aware that we cut 1 officer. Because originally we were looking for 3, and we cut it down to 2.
Yeah.
So, and that's how we would sort of balance the budget. So if you're looking to add another officer in here,
Looking to make sure that the referendum is covered.
I think the referendum is fine because we are, you know what I mean? So,
Referendum actually wasn't really specifically for a second or third shift. I think that was maybe what Nelson had, like,
thought it
thought
was
it
or
was,
whatever, yeah.
when it was actually presented to the people. I don't know if it was specific to, that's just food for thought, it doesn't matter to me. I get what Andrew's saying, it's making sure that that officer is still there. We were close, it's 15.
So, again, I think we staff this, the chief gave no.
That's fine.
Stuff like- So, yeah, I think we're very good. We're staffing the police department, correct? Yeah, but, you know, and again, you know, I mean, sorry you weren't aware of that, but we discussed that at the last meeting. Decision has to be made. So, anything you want, else on the budget you wanna do?
I think that's good, is. Let's stuff figured out. Then there'll be
Yeah,
more
that's in
numbers
order.
to play with, yeah.
All right, Tom, I'll refer to you.
I don't have anything additional other than what I've already proposed. I think the operations committee has a long list of items that we are hoping that the board will see and take action on at some point in time. Several of which have the opportunity to cut costs if we implement them. And many of those are related to the DPW based on Kenny's recommendations at the outset of the operations committee work. So I don't think that's gonna impact this budget directly, and I'm not proposing that it does. I'm just setting expectations about the fact that there is additional work teed up that could save money, specifically in the public works department.
Bob, do you have anything?
Something that hasn't already been discussed.
All right, are we in?
One
Yes.
other thing that, so going with the contribution towards premiums, I had asked our insurance agent about what we need to do now that we are taking it out of payroll, and there's, for doing it pre-tax. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
program that we have to do, it's, the setup fee is $400, and then it's $275 a year to do, and they do the compliance, the non-discrimination testing and everything, so.
Yeah, I highly recommend that.
Yeah,
You
so,
know,
Is there a cost associated with that, Heather?
yeah, the 400
The
to
setup.
set up, and then
Oh,
renewal
gotcha.
fee is
Everything's yearly.
All right,
275.
yeah.
Yeah, but,
So that was something
but then we're set
that
up for, yeah, that's-
Okay.
will be pre-tax and.
anything else?
Was time of the essence, Heather, for the applications? Are we gonna have to fill out applications?
Yep, everybody's gonna have to fill out new applications.
Okay.
So, we'll get those out. I think for a future board meeting, maybe we're gonna just ask about like vacation time, leftover vacation time, when we're not able to use it by the end of the year.
How do you accrue time now? You get it.
How do I accrue it?
It's like, for my company, we accrue time. And so there's formulas out there. It's like, you give you 2 weeks to start, or higher level, you get to hire you at 6 weeks, or whatever you accrue your vacation.
Yeah, we're both at the top of the accrual. We're both at 5 weeks.
Okay, so you accrue it. And so if you don't take it, do we have a rule that, like, I know the police department, you can carry a certain number,
Yeah, we
Hours.
can carry over 5 days
so 40 hours, okay, that's
Right.
So,
over to the new year, but I have 4 weeks left.
well,
Use it or lose it, or do you pay it out?
Last year that they paid it out because we were, similar to this year, we were unable to use our time. So I just
Well, I
thought we
guess-
could have it as a
you have
future.
to put something together and share with the board sooner than later, so then the board can decide whether to pay it out or how best to make sure you get time.
Well, I'd like to use it, but it's not, there's
Well, not
no
4
way
weeks,
without
only a month up to a
impacting
year.
town
Yeah, it's gonna be a little
functions.
tough, you know what I mean? It's hard to do, so.
So it's hard to take off when it impacts the town functions
Yeah, no, I
yearly,
understand that.
so.
With your tax time coming, you can't just take the month of December off.
No, yeah, so. I guess that we need to know where everybody stands. Would you know where you stand?
Yeah, I don't have that.
2 weeks, I
Yeah,
think.
2 weeks, I guess.
Randy, you don't get anything, you're part-time, so don't have to worry about you.
Well, actually, she
But it
gets
should, you
a little bit
How
of.
much-
Yeah,
do
I
you
get a
know, do they
little
have a lot of hours they've got accrued that they have made?
Excuse me?
Do they have a lot of hours they have been accrued that they haven't taken?
I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to look at their sheet. the-
We run into the same problem.
Huh?
We
Yeah.
can run into the same problem.
And I don't want, if we're gonna do something for one, we gotta do it for all, and we gotta be fair and equal, so I just wanna make sure, you know, what I mean, the only one that screws up a little bit is the police department because of their contract, but,
I've always carried a few days over,
so you're gone.
except for this year, I gotta use about
Not that you haven't been using them, but anyways, alright, that's fine, just get something together as soon as possible. And so that way we can review it, I mean, the pretty good time, your operation, a little bit, so.
Yeah.
So, Dale, you can help the DPW guys if they got hours too.
Okay, yeah, let me know.
Alright, so Tina, what are we gonna do we gonna make a motion saying this is our budget, or what do we gotta do?
Well, I have to tweak everything now with all the percentages in that. I
Well, I mean, the tweak, you just gotta, well,
You gotta make a little bit of changes.
Yeah,
a little
with
bit
all the
of changes.
changes. Mhm.
But.
I don't wanna call
this is
another
it.
meeting, we can just say,
No.
with that change, this is the budget's gonna be, I mean, it's, whatever we little save, which ain't gonna be a whole lot, the
Right.
4 to 3%, or the 5 to 4%, it'll go back to rollover, so it's not gonna make a huge difference. You've already posted this in the paper, so.
Yes. And then is Heather keeping in there the 5% for the police department? Because we don't have their union contract yet?
I would put it there, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in there, so.
Yeah, it's in there. I just wanna make sure.
Yeah, again, until we, hopefully we'll have that out to them by, I'm guessing the first or second week, it all depends what they do with part-timers. They, they have 3 years to do something with it. So. All right, so I need a motion to approve this budget with the minor changes made.
We go to a budget before we approve a levy.
Let it approve it,
The
The levy gets approved at the town meeting.
I
Yeah.
would say that this is I don't know if they necessarily need a motion as this is the one that we're gonna have available on December 8th,
Yes.
like that.
So that's what we need to make a motion for, this is the one we're gonna present this out.
I know, I don't think you need a motion for that.
Okay, well, then we don't need a motion.
No.
All right, I guess we got a motion, there's nothing on my agenda anymore. We did everything.
Oh.
Motion to adjourn,
I move to adjourn. Second.
motion second. All right, all in favor, aye. All right, we're done. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, Heather, I forgot to say, Adam, you can get back to me. He has signed up on the check, so that check should be here. Tom Kramer did not respond, so I can,
Okay.
but you should have the big one coming to you, like 308,000.
Okay.